Okonta and his wife Ijoma lived in the village of Oru. They were peasant farmers and had many farms in the village because they worked very hard on their farms daily and had lots of money. Okonta and his wife were very kind, and almost all the people in the village liked them, but the kind couple had a problem which could not be solved with money. They had tried to get a solution to their problem through money, but that had proved futile. In the end, they realized that it was not everything that money could buy. The problem that Agia Mensa and his wife were having was childlessness. For the 10 years that they had lived together as a married couple, they had not been able to get even a single child of their own. This made them to feel very sad every day. And it made them feel as though they were not normal human beings. They went from shrine to shrine, native doctor to native doctor, and from medical doctor to medical doctor, just to get a child, but all was in vain. In the process, they were steed a lot of money but could not get a child as they urgently needed. Then one day it was detected that Ijoma had become pregnant. This made her husband and family members very happy. They prayed for Ijoma's safe delivery. And at long last, she gave birth. And it was a great surprise because Ijoma did not give birth to one child or two children, but to triplets, all of them boys. This was a very strange because that was the very first time such a thing had happened in the village, and the news spread all over the village of Oru and far beyond. Before long, the boys had grown into toddlers and were soon in their teens. But tried as their parents did, the 3 boys refused to go to school. "We will be farmers, just like our parents," the boys would say to anyone who asked them why they would not go to school. "We will be farmers as well as hunters. As we farm the land, we will hunt down all the animals in the big, vast forest." Now, whenever their parents were going to work on their farms, they would ask the boys to go with them, but they would not go. Instead, they would go their own way into the forest and hunt down animals. "Farming is a difficult work," they would say. "We want to be hunters." And yet, as the years passed by, it became clear that the boys were not any real hunters. They always went into the bush and stayed all day and returned in the evening with nothing. On the few days on which they returned with some meat, it was realized that all they brought home were the leftovers of animals killed by other animals. And their parents, as well as the entire community, were not ready or prepared to eat carcasses. Their parents wanted fresh meat that was free from all forms of germs. People soon lost interest in the boys and in all their activities. Before long, nobody was speaking any good about the 3 handsome boys born to Agyamensa and his beautiful wife. "Those boys are very bad boys," people would say, pointing at them as they passed by. And the boys would go into the bush and inspect the traps set by others, and if perchance any of the traps had caught an animal, the boys would remove the carcasses from the trap, take it to a nearby village and sell it. This was the way they behaved until they grew up to become almost. Now in the forest where they had been carrying out their evil deeds lived a lion. He was an old wise lion and very, very strong. "I'll teach those lazy boys a lesson," the lion said to himself one day. "I'll them an unforgettable lesson." As the lion said this, he thought of how he could punish all the 3 bad boys at the same time. This was a very difficult thing to do because he did not want to ask for anybody's help in carrying out his plans to punish the 3 bad brothers. Meanwhile, the boys were still carrying out their nefarious activities across the length and breadth of the forest, inspecting people's traps under cover of darkness and stealing any animal caught in such traps. And in fact, so evil had become the ways of the boys that even all the animals in the land were talking evil about them, just as the human beings were doing. So one day the lion sent out messages to all the animals in the forest, asking them to attend a meeting. "Come all of you," he said. "Come and let's find what we can do about the 3 bad boys who are making life so difficult and unbearable for us all." On the appointed day, all the animals in the forest met at the venue the lion had mentioned, and they numbered in the hundreds. Each of them was very angry, and almost all of them had stories to tell about the activities of the 3 bad boys. "They're very bad boys," said Mr. Monkey, making the very first case against the 3 young hunters. "A week ago, I was playing with my children on a palm tree, and from nowhere, those bad boys came and shot all my 3 children. They each shot my 3 children all at the same time, so that none of them could escape. Why they didn't shoot me first, I still can't understand, because my children were very, very young for any human being to consider killing them for food. The most annoying thing about it all is that, after shooting them dead, those bad boys went away without even bothering to pick up the bodies of my children. They just left them to rot. My 3 children got rotten for no reason at all. Wickedness! Oh, what wickedness! What wickedness! All the animals shouted in unison and in great anger, and several of them started weeping openly. "Listen, Mr. Monkey," stated Mrs. Antelope, stepping into the center of the gathering. "Those bad bovs dug 7 deep holes on the route I had been plying with my family for years. They dug those holes and covered them carefully without our knowledge, and when, a week ago, we decided to ply that route, my husband and all our 7 children fell into those holes. And they were deep holes. In fact, they were so deep that none of the members of my family was able to get out of the holes once again. They remained in the holes and died one after the other from hunger and thirst. And my husband was the very last one to die. He died only last night." "Too bad, oh, too bad, that's rather too bad," shouted all the animals in great anger. "It's time we do something about those bad boys. It is high time we do something about them."